Hello, dear colleagues and partners. Today we will speak about a very important topic, work with objections. In other words, work with the counter-arguments from the players, why they don't want to work with us or why they don't want to sign the contract with us, with our managers they don't want to meet. And let's speak about all these cases, and I will try to explain you from my experience about what is working. First of all, that's very important, and I think you already saw some video instructions from our colleague Alexander about the recruiting, about how to speak with the players. And I just want to repeat one more time, the personal meeting is the very important. And the personal meeting is 10 times better, maybe 20 times better than call or video meeting, because in the personal meeting you can speak with the player very open to discuss all cases, and it's very easy to explain our position, our philosophy and our system, And sometimes players saying that I am not ready to go for the meeting because I am busy or because I have another manager and so on. And it's very important to find the solution and to agree with the player to find maybe 15-20 minutes, if it's possible, for their short coffee and to meet, to say hello, to know each other and maybe to help each other in the future. And I told you from my experience, these meetings, if the player is saying that they not have time, all the time, it's so interesting and important for the player that it's going more than 1 hour, because the player already understood about what we are speaking. And if the player is saying, I don't have time, just find any arguments like, don't worry, I will not push you to sign the contract with me or with our agency. I not push you to change the manager if the players say that have the manager. The point is that we just meet, we know each other, and I will explain you just in a few minutes about our agency and about our system. And in the future you will decide by yourself if it will be necessary for you or not. And this is the main important, first of all, to organize the personal meeting if it's possible. Another objection or contraming that I have another manager. And what we can say in this situation, that for sure you have another manager and your manager maybe is good, maybe not so good, but totally different that if you work with one manager or if you are working with the agency. And I think that Alexander already explained it in his video, that our agencies is not just me or he or another manager. This is the team who is working for the player, and all our team working for his success and his targets. And this is and the lawyers and marketing department, organization things and financial department, all our managers, and we are working for him. And this is impossible that one person can be in himself all these positions. And we can explain you you can explain to the player that just to feel the difference, if your manager and professional lawyer and professional accountant and professional marketing provider, and if he is organizer and so on, it's impossible to be really good in all these fields. And because of it, our advantage in front of them, that we have the different departments who is a big professional in all these things, and this is the big advantage. And future in their sport, not just in the handball, in all kinds of sport, that the future for the agencies, not for the personal managers. And I think in few years will be just the big agencies, not will be their alone managers. And if the player saying you like one objection, if you will not find the club for me, you can tell him or her that this is almost impossible, because from all our 15 experience, we never had the cases that we didn't find the club for the player, because we have a lot of connections, we know what the players needs, and we know their requests for the clubs. And because of our knowledge and connections, we are helping. Just was maybe a few cases when we didn't find the club for the player, but this was just expectations, because exceptions, because the player was maybe in age already more than 35-36 years, and will be so hard to push the club to take care old player. And anyway, we found not maybe so high level clubs, but we found the club for them. The next one is because of the financial expectations. If their level of the player may be around 3,500 euro, but his expectations like he had in 5 years before 5,000-6,000 euro, and this is very hard, to push the club to give him these financial conditions. But anyway, we are speaking, we are trying, and if the player is saying, if you will not find the club for me, for sure you can tell them that we will do all our best and we will do everything that you will have the club, and we have experience for everybody to find the club. The next objections or counter argument that why I need the manager if I am playing in my club. This is a really interesting topic because, first of all, I will give you one example from my manager experience, that one player was signed in the club where the club provided for the players the apartments, and if the player signing the contract with the club for 2 or more years, the club will give their free apartment in the end of the contract. And in the contract of our player, which we represented in this club, our legal department prepared very, very clear the situation. The apartment should be no less than 60 quarter meters. The building should be new, that not older than 5 years. There with constructions, with reparation, with everything. And the contracts of another players who signed their contract that the club should provide the apartment was written just the club should to provide the construction, the building or something like this, without any clarification. And in the end, the sponsor who provided these apartments was bankrupt, and we go in the court, and our player who was clarified with this exactly information about their details about apartment, receiving 3 times more money because the club didn't have possibility to provide apartments. They paid the money 3 times bigger amount of the money that the players for the construction, because the general construction in that region cost, for example, 20,000 euro, but the apartment cost 60,000 euro, and everything what is clarified in our player's contract was paid. And this is the difference how you are sign the contract with the manager or without manager, and the most important with the professional agency who knows what should be written in the contract. And now the players who was without us after this case decided to work with us and called us and asked it to work together. This is like an example. The another example, how the clubs signing the contract with the player without experience, or young players, or who is not so good in legal questions, about the option. Sometimes they put the date of the options maybe so late in April and May, or they can put their option just the club have possibility to decide about, say, second year. And we never doing these contracts without checking of our legal department. They are checking that their contract should be 100% for their player's side, that it's possible, that conditions should be for the player, their deals and details. And because of it, if the club saying or the player saying, why in my club I don't need the manager, it's totally different how you speak with the club and how your representative, the professional manager, speaking and negotiate. And by our 15 experience, we already did the calculation that players who is working with our agency receiving 30-40% more, I think, financial than the players who is working without us or with another manager. Another counter argument or objection is, can I work with you but without contract? For me, is the manager who will find the club for me. And this is the biggest mistake and especially in the men handball, because many managers who is not correct and who is just cheating, and their goal, our mission is commission. They are working just for the commission, and they are trying to find the club just to receive the money, and after that forget the player. Our goal is helping for the players, and we are doing all the best that player will have good conditions and good clubs to be protected from the financial side, from the legal side, with our organization thinks on us, and we are doing our best that player will be focused just on the handball, on the trainings and on their games, because we will not go in the court to play it against another team to change the player. The players playing handball, we are doing all the business. Everybody should be professional in his field. And if the player saying, I will not sign contract with you, if you will have something for me, just call me. And this is the mistake, because no one manager will not work 100% focused on this player. Because if you are without contract, if something appeared, I will call him. If something not, I will not call. And because of it, player waiting that 10 managers doing for him for job, but no one doing nothing. And because of it, the most important to have their exclusive contract with the player and to work with him. And our contracts guaranteed to the player that we will do our jobs from the very beginning until the end. And after we will find the club. It's not our job finishing. During the season appeared a lot of different issues, organization things, misunderstandings, and for example, player has the conflict with their coach or with the board of the club. And for sure, it's easier to give all this information for your agents, to your agency or your manager who will fix this is instead of you, that you will go personally to go in this conflict. We are their agency who is like a buffer between the two conflict situations, between the player and the clubs. And for sure, our main goal to protect our players. And if appeared some problems, for sure we will be on the side of the player until the end. And if the player going without contract, how you don't have any legal arguments on legal support to protect him officially. And because of it, you can explain to your players or the players who is want to work with you or still thinking about it, that the contract is the guarantee for you that your agency will work for you 100%. If you're working without contract, it's not guarantee you that somebody will protect you and put his name in behalf of the name of the player. And I think you will understand that without contract we are not working, and we have just one instrument. If the player not ready to sign the contract immediately, we can sign the power of attorney. Power of attorney, this is like small authorization that is written that the player give trust to the agency to represent himself from the very beginning. This is the like legal confirmation. But in the future, when we find the club for the player and we have the contract with the club, the player signing the both documents and the contract with the agency and contract with the club. Another counter-argument or objection that the player saying that my club told me if I will work with the manager, I will get less money and all commission will take your agents. But honestly, clubs playing this game and cheating the players just because of it, for them it's easier to cheat the player or to negotiate directly with the player who is not professional in negotiations and to provide him worse conditions and less salary. For sure, if the player negotiate by himself, they just giving him the contract. The player not so good in the legal questions. They're saying just on their salary, and they're saying looking just for their terms of the contract. And all the time, clubs puts in the contract everything what they want, and the players signing this contract. And when appeared the problems, nobody can help him. For example, I had one case few months ago. One young player who signed the contract alone without agency for 5 years in the club because he was young and club gives him this contract. Now gave him their like prolongation, like additional agreement, where is written that now you belong to the club until the club will not decide by himself how long you will stay in this club. And now the player doesn't know what to do, how to sign or not to sign this paper, how long should be their contract maximum. But the law, I don't know if you know or not, that maximum duration of the contract is maximum 5 years. and if the player already have contract for 5 years, the club doesn't have no one legal right to prolong this contract for unlimited period. And all these questions, the clubs knows that players not so good in it and can give them to sign any paper. And for sure, you need to have someone who will check this document, who will be responsible for your career and for responsible from your financials and legal questions. Because of it, you can explain to the players that if you are alone, you're not protected and you are not safe. If you are with our agency, we will take care about everything. And in the worst case or in the bad situation, you will have someone who will help you and who will be on your side and will do everything that you will be satisfied. And if we are making conclusion with everything what I told you about work with objections, it's very important to explain in very professional and very easy way for the player that he or she will understand how is important to have someone who will protect him, and the most important that who have someone like us, or especially us, our agency, who is the professional, who has already 15 years experience on the market, who is not just one but the team more than 15 person, and who will take care and do all our best to help to the player in all his issues. And we always on touch 24/7. We are in contact, and if in emergency situation something happen, we will do everything that the player will be safe, protected and calm. Thank you for the information, and I think if it will be necessary, we will organize maybe some more video topics about this theme, and we will speak more. Thank you so much and have a nice day. See you. Bye bye.